stop because they get litigious. Here it comes.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return.
It suggested that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
It all started with
nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
Colin Jost live on Saturday Night Live, locked eyes with the camera, and dropped the kind of line that sends press secretaries into cardiac arrest. Apparently, one of the terms in Trump's new UK trade deal is that we send Meghan Markle back, but only if she deletes her entire Instagram again. Boom. The internet went into overdrive, and Meghan Markle, well, if insiders are to be believed, she nearly shattered a wine glass in Montecito. But this wasn't just another late-night jab. This was a shot across the bow. A comedian on one of the world's most watched stages, casually mocking the Duchess of Sussex not for being a victim, not for being misunderstood, but for being, well, a brand. And worse, a brand with skeletons spilling out of every digital closet. Because, let's be honest, the Yacht Girl story didn't die, it didn't fade. It just waited patiently in the shadows until someone like Colin dragged it back under a spotlight that even Meghan's PR squad couldn't spin away. See, while everyone laughed at Colin's punchline, they missed the deeper cut, the real story bubbling just beneath the chuckles. Because just days before that SNL episode aired, grainy yet unmistakable photos began circulating online. A sun-drenched deck, a circle of well-connected men, flutes of champagne, and center frame. A woman bearing an uncanny resemblance to Meghan Markle in her pre-royal days, draped in designer swimwear, dripping in curated casual. Was it her?
Reminder, Prince Harry married a talentless Soho house, alleged, named Meghan Markle. And I've seen this before, but I have to admit.
Well, the photo wasn't stamped with her name, but Reddit, TikTok, and Twitter sleuths, bless their caffeinated hearts, went to work. They cross-referenced everything. Bracelets, body language, the angle of the sun. And let's just say, this wasn't a blurry Bigfoot sighting. It was sharp enough to make even a palace guard squint. But what really ignited the internet wasn't just the image. It was the timing. Because this wasn't Meghan in 2004. Some college girl on spring break. No. This aligned eerily close with her early suits, FIMA time when she was building a clean girl image online. Sipping green juice, preaching suckle love, and casually name-dropping causes. That's the magic of Meghan's brand. She didn't just walk into the royal family, she rebranded herself into it. And for a while, it worked. From network, actress to duchess, from call sheets to coronations, she made the leap that most people only manage in dreams or spreadsheets. But when the photos started reappearing, suddenly, the timeline started to fracture.
We again highlight the mucky murkiness and mendacious manner of this alleged yacht girl, according to Urban.
Because if Meghan really was sipping rose on luxury yachts with wealthy power players before Prince Harry ever slipped into her DMs, well then, maybe that love story wasn't so organic after all. Maybe it wasn't fate. Maybe it was networking. And here's where Colin just twisted the knife. He didn't just mention Meghan. He implied the truth people have been whispering for years, that she didn't just find herself in the lap of royal luxury. She climbed there with charm, ambition, and a Rolodex full of international connections. Cue the SNL laughter. Cue the headlines. Cue Meghan allegedly throwing her phone against the wall like it was an ex-boyfriend who ghosted. Because what people miss in this media firestorm is how fragile the Meghan Markle myth really is. It's not built on transparency. It's built on aesthetic. Carefully filtered snapshots, curated pain, controlled interviews, and once real-life messages starts breaking through that glassy facade, it all begins to look like a
girl past set to be exposed in a new documentary that's finally going to air next month. Let's put it this way, I smell a scared little...
Let's rewind a bit. The photos first surfaced years ago in niche forums and dark corners of gossip blogs. They never went mainstream. Why? Because the timing wasn't right. Back then, Meghan still had the sympathy card. The palace versus princess narrative was red hot. Every critic was labeled a misogynist. Every question was called racism. And let's be real, no one wanted to fact-check Cinderella while she was still trying on the glass slipper. But now, the tides have turned. Spotify deal, gone. Netflix, buzz, faded. Royal family relations, icy. And now this. The yacht photos, resurfacing alongside Colin Jost's joke, felt like a 1-2 punch Meghan couldn't dodge. And Meghan, not even a cryptic quote about healing through storms or a moody Instagram post with a tree in the background, nothing. That's what has people raising eyebrows. Because if it wasn't her, wouldn't she just say so? Wouldn't she sue? Wouldn't she send out a denial faster than Arcuel can launch another vague initiative about storytelling and kindness? But instead, nothing. And in today's world, silence isn't serene, it's suspicious. Even her defenders are struggling to find the script. Usually there's a pushback, look how mean they're being, or this is why we left the UK. But this time, Meghan's supporters are unusually quiet. Not because they don't care, but because the material. Well, it's hard to defend a yacht party when your brand is built on struggle and service. And let's not forget how unforgiving the internet can be. After Colin's joke went viral, so did the meme TikToks analyzing Meghan's past personas, Instagram Reels tracing her transformation from influencer to duchess to disgruntled entrepreneur, Twitter threads dissecting the mysterious vanishing of old friends, the polished evolution of her image, and the way everything that doesn't fit her current branding just disappears like a Snapchat message. Even publications once sympathetic have started using words like inconsistent, over-curated, and the most damning of all, inauthentic. And this is the part Meghan truly hates. Not the accusations, not the rumors. She's weathered worse. What she can't stomach is the mockery. Because you can spin hate into sympathy, but once the world starts laughing, it's game over. Colin didn't just jab her with a joke, he turned her into a punchline. He opened the floodgates. Now every late-night show, every gossip site, every YouTube commentary channel is sniffing around her past like bloodhounds. And you better believe the scent is strong. There's even talk that more photos might drop, ones that never made it to the public before. Industry insiders say certain high society photographers are suddenly getting calls, being asked to review archives and pull anything sensitive. That's never a good sign. The yacht narrative isn't going away, not because it's some smoking gun, but because it perfectly symbolizes the growing disconnect between Meghan's public image and her possible private reality. And if
you're Meghan Markle, whose entire empire is built on being the victim of misrepresentation, the idea that you may have engineered the very story you now complain about. That's the real scandal. But here's the wildest part. This isn't just about gossip anymore. It's no longer just whispers on Reddit or a few questionable Instagram posts. It's public, it's viral, and most importantly, it's undeniable. Once Colin Jost made that joke on SNL, the whole narrative shifted. The moment comedy
steps in, it means the story has hit culture, not just headlines. Meghan Markle stopped being a royal icon and became a meme, and that's when the power dynamic changed. Because now, the public's perception isn't being shaped by Oprah or Spotify or even the tabloids. It's being shaped by jokes, satire, late-night punchlines, and that kind of ridicule sticks. It's the kind that seeps into TikTok comment sections, YouTube reactions, Twitter threads. And once that version of you is out there, it's nearly impossible to claw your way back. What's worse, Meghan knows it. Sources close to the Sussex camp say she was livid after the SNL segment aired. Not just annoyed, furious, because unlike a harsh headline or a court case, she can't sue a punchline. She can't file a takedown notice against a smirk. And she definitely can't spin yacht photos out of existence when the internet keeps pulling receipts faster than her team can bury them. One insider claimed Meghan reached out to multiple media contacts in the days after the SNL episode, urging them to correct the narrative and focus on her philanthropic work instead. But the damage was already done. The photos were everywhere. The jokes were already clipped and uploaded. TikTok creators were dissecting her past like true crime investigators. The tide wasn't just turning, it was crashing down. And Harry, well, let's not pretend he's just a bystander in all this. The man who once claimed to hate the press more than anyone is now watching his wife's past become an internet investigation. His face is still plastered next to hers in every headline, every thumbnail. And while Meghan's being framed as the manipulator, Harry's taking hits as the gullible prince who gave up everything for someone who never really left the spotlight behind. There's even speculation from royal insiders that this latest scandal has pushed Harry further into isolation from his family, from the public, and even some suggest from Meghan herself. Because while Meghan's trying to spin, curate, and control, Harry is allegedly retreating, quiet, unavailable, increasingly distant. And people are starting to wonder if the perfect Sussex front is finally cracking behind closed doors too. Meanwhile, Hollywood isn't blind. Executives have long memories. PR teams talk, studios gossip, and the one thing worse than being unpredictable in Hollywood is being uncontrollable. Meghan's name, once floated for everything from brand deals to humanitarian panels, is now quietly disappearing from those same conversations. Not because she doesn't have appeal, but because she's become a risk. And risk doesn't sell, especially when your past keeps knocking louder than your PR team can shout over. Colin Jost's joke didn't just reopen the yacht girl conversation. It exposed the vulnerability of Meghan's carefully constructed image. Because no matter how many documentaries she films, how many interviews she gives, or how many empowerment speeches she posts on Instagram, one viral photo can undo years of narrative building. And that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating. Because Meghan's rise was strategic, calculated. She positioned herself as a fresh voice in a rigid monarchy, a symbol of modernity, feminism, and resilience. But as Tom Bower, Lady C, and even anonymous ex-staffers have hinted, when the lights go off and the camera stops rolling, the story gets murky. And now, the audience is finally seeing that murk. It's no longer about who she married. It's about how she moved, the people she left behind, the people's silence.